Welcome class to macroeconomics. I'm James Robinson, I'm your instructor. This is my second semester to teach macroeconomics. I'm also teaching microeconomics this fall as well. Very excited to be back in class and teaching. Hopefully you're excited as well, although I know most likely you're not all excited about taking macroeconomics, but that's okay. Just wanted to point out a few things. First of all, let me introduce a little bit more about myself. So I also started the community college route. I went to Amarillo Community College in the Panhandle of Texas, where I got my associate's degree in 2006, and then I transferred to Baylor University, where I earned my BBA in business administration, obviously business administration, but I majored in economics and finance. And then I graduated in 2008. Around 2010, I enrolled in graduate school at West Texas A&M University, where I earned a master's degree of science in finance and economics. And then later, I also went on to get a master's degree from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in supply chain management and logistics as well. And supply chain is the field that my day job is in. I've been in supply chain now for 10 years, almost 10 years now. It's been a very, very good career, but economics has always been my first love. So I've always wanted to at least come teach it part-time. So this has been an exciting opportunity for me. So we have a lot to cover in macroeconomics, right? Of course, macroeconomics is the, kind of the 50,000 foot view of economics. We're going to deal with economies at the national and global level. We're going to be looking at things like trade, gross domestic product, these sorts of things. The first two chapters of the textbook cover general economic principles, and so those apply to both macro and micro. And then we will dive in quickly after that into the macro-specific content. So week one, I did not assign any assignments except for a syllabus quiz, which if you just take the quiz, you will get 5 points added to your first real quiz. That's just for me to encourage you, to incentivize you to read the syllabus, make sure you've looked around the course and you've got a feel for it, and you will also have reading assigned that week of chapter 1. So it won't be a heavy week, but please take advantage of that to get chapter 1 read, because week 2 we'll have to make up for that a little bit, and there will be quite a bit of work done. And speaking of the workload of the course, sometimes the workload's going to be a little lumpy, right? There's going to be some weeks where the workload is much heavier than other weeks, and part of that is just the fact that on test weeks, I don't want you to have any assignments due except your test. I want you to be free to really focus on studying for the test. You will have reading assigned, but no assignments will be due on that over that reading until the next week. Okay, so that's what I've tried to do. My goal is to make sure that you have an acceptable level of competency in macroeconomics after this course that you'll carry with you the rest of your life. And of course, if you are going to transfer to university and take advanced economics courses, take finance courses, I want you to not feel like I have not prepared you well. But I don't want to make the course any harder than it needs to be to achieve that competency. So keep in mind that I really don't want anybody to fail. If you are struggling, I am here for you. Okay, I will help you. I also don't want anybody to drop. All right, right? So I hope you don't look at the course load and think, oh my gosh, this is too much, and drop. I really don't, because I do believe that the workload is manageable. You just have to stay on top of it. Something to keep in mind, I drop your lowest grade from every assignment category. The only grade you cannot drop is the final exam. I have built that in there for you to give you room for a big hiccup. If something goes on in your life, you can't turn in assignments that week, hey, no big deal. You've got it covered. Or if, I don't know, for some reason you just really struggle with a certain chapter or two, get a bad grade on it, not the end of the world, okay? That being said, with that already built in there for you, I really don't want to take any late work. I really don't. I'm not going to categorically say that I will never take late work, but I really don't want to take late work because I give you that room. Trying to think of what else. Let me see. So I live in a place called the Colony, Texas, which is a weird name, I know, for a town, but it's just a suburb of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I've lived in the Metroplex for about 4 years now. Before that, I lived in Lafayette, Louisiana, in the heart of Cajun country for 3 years, and that was an awesome experience. I moved there with my job to support a new program as in supply chain, a supply chain role, and that was just an awesome experience. Before that, basically my hometown is Amarillo, Texas, in the panhandle of Texas, which I suspect looks an awful lot like the place you live. It's just a bigger city, but the geography is very similar probably to where you live. Climate's very similar, not quite as cold in the winter. Probably a little hotter in the summer, but close. Windy, which I know from what I've heard, you also live in a very windy place. And that's really kind of my hometown, more or less. I also grew up quite a bit in southeastern Colorado, which probably looks a lot like where you live. Looks a lot like the Texas Panhandle. I have 2 dogs, one of which you can see, Maggie, my lab pointer mix, about 4 years old. And then you might be able to see Brussels. No, Brussels isn't in here. I've got a little border terrier named Sir Brussels, who is an awesome little dog. Oh, he is there. Sorry, maybe you did see him. And that is it. So, class, keep in mind, in the syllabus, you have my contact information. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me, okay? I do have a day job, so I may not be able to take your call always or respond always during the workday, but it would be really rare for me not to get back in touch with you that same day. There will be an exception. I will be on vacation from September 5th through September 10th. I will be in the Dominican Republic. I may be a little out of pocket that week, but I'm going to try to set up to make sure that we don't have any major issues, okay? Keep in mind, I am in the Central Time Zone, so, preferably, probably don't call or text after, what would be 10 o'clock your time. But if it's an emergency, go ahead. But otherwise, reach out anytime. I will be very, very responsive. And keep in mind, hey, I'm human. You may see mistakes every now and then in your test or in your assignments. And when you find those, I would be more than happy to acknowledge that, correct that, and either drop that question or revise grades accordingly. So I appreciate your help with that. And again, reach out to me anytime. Looking forward to it. I hope you have a great semester.